I'm getting on average 2 to 3 hours of deep sleep every night. And I've also increased my sleep scores from mid-70s and 80s to 100 with 7 simple things you can also do. Increasing your sleep score comes down to these components: making sure you sleep enough, which is 7 to 8 hours, up to 9 hours, increase your REM and deep sleep, reduce the time it takes you to fall asleep, and reduce the amount of times you wake up per night. In this video, I'm going to go through all of these components so you can sleep like a rock star, or more like a sleeping beauty. Number 1, block out blue light. I remember distinctly back in 2018 when I first started using blue blocking glasses that it increased my deep sleep by 15% immediately. Now that's not massive, but it's still significant, and it plays a role in getting a score of 100 in your sleep score. The reason for my deep sleep increasing was that artificial blue light inhibits melatonin production. Melatonin is important for falling asleep, and especially deep sleep. The bright light exposure during the morning is great for starting your circadian rhythm and increasing alertness, but in the evening it disrupts your circadian rhythm and decreases sleep quality, as shown by several human studies. Blue as well as green light between the wavelengths of 460 and 550 nanometers inhibits melatonin production. It's short in wavelength and very intense, which is why it's energizing. Amber and red lights, on the other hand, at wavelengths of 600 and above, have the opposite effect. They support melatonin production because of mimicking a sunset. The reason blue light before bed has a massive negative effect on your deep sleep is because of sleep architecture. You see, the vast majority of deep sleep occurs in the first half of the night. The first 4 hours, you're getting a lot more deep sleep, because during deep sleep, your body goes through physical repair, which is a priority. The second half of the night, you experience less deep sleep and more REM sleep, which is when dreaming occurs. If your deep sleep is low, you need to optimize what you do shortly before getting into bed, because most of the deep sleep happens when you go to bed and the 4 hours after that. Blocking out blue light and dimming down the lights is a central component to that. This brings me to the second point, which is creating a sleep-friendly environment in your home. Whenever I'm doing podcasts or online meetings in front of these blue lights a few hours before bed, then I notice immediately that it takes me a lot longer to fall asleep, and my sleep quality is usually much worse. To counteract that, you want to have light options that aren't so bright and don't suppress melatonin that much. Regular LED lights are the worst because they're very bright and blue. Incandescent light bulbs are much better because they're smoother and more dim, which means they inhibit melatonin less. The biggest difference between LED and incandescent light bulbs are the price and lifespan. LED light bulbs cost around $5 to $10 and last 50,000 hours. Incandescent light bulbs cost $1 to $3 but last only about 1,000 hours. LEDs are obviously more cost effective. They cost a little bit more, but they last significantly longer. But they're horrible for your sleep and circadian rhythms. Excess blue light can also have other negative effects, such as they can damage your eyes, they can damage your mitochondria, they can damage your skin. So I definitely recommend using incandescent light bulbs. I just wish they had incandescent ring lights. Pink Himalayan salt lamps are also an option that you can use on your nightstand or in the living room. Another option is something like this red light that you can attach to your wall or keep on the nightstand. And another option is to have red light bulbs that you use in the evening before bed. Just a regular red light bulb costs around $30, but it's not going to inhibit melatonin production, and it's even better than incandescent light bulbs. Now, the red light bulbs are a bit more costly, but they're significantly better than LED lights and also better than incandescent light bulbs. I don't know specifically how long they will last, but I've been using this lamp in front of my computer every night for 1 to 2 hours before bed for the last 6 months, and it's still working, so it can last pretty much up to a year. If you do have bright lights, you can still reduce the light pollution. For example, if the light is an open dome, then it's going to spread the furthest and shine blue light the furthest. This is the worst option. If the light dome is halfway covered, then it's a bit better, but because it's at your height, you'll still get most of the blue light into your eyes that disrupts melatonin production. The best option is to have a dome that shields most of the bulb and directs the light to the ground. This way the bulk of the light is shined on the ground under the lamp, and it doesn't illuminate the entire room. The way I do it is I dim down the lights around 2 hours before bed. I use my red light bulb in front of the computer for 1 to 2 hours before I go to bed. Then in the living room and bedroom I have a pink Himalayan salt lamp with all the other lights turned off. If I am using my phone or laptop, then I'm using blue blocking glasses like these ones, different lenses. These are less strong. These are the strongest version that filter out almost all light. And these are slightly easier that you can wear, like even when working in front of a computer. Now, there's some skepticism about blue blocking glasses. Do they actually work? Yes, a 2021 systematic review of 24 publications found that blue blocking glasses did reduce the time it took people to fall asleep, especially in patients with sleep disorders or jet lag. I noticed that myself. If I'm not wearing blue blocking glasses and I'm looking at my phone or I'm getting exposed to bright lights, then it takes me at least 20 minutes to fall asleep. Whereas when I'm filtering out the blue light, using the blue blocking glasses and dimming down the lights, then it usually takes me less than 5 minutes to fall asleep. And because most of the deep sleep happens the first few hours after you've fallen asleep, getting exposed to bright lights before bed is going to significantly reduce your deep sleep. It's not going to affect your REM sleep that much because you're going to get REM sleep the 4 hours after that, but getting a lot of bright light in the evening will reduce your deep sleep quality. The third thing that played a role in improving my sleep quality and getting to 100 was having an earlier dinner. I've been having dinner as late as 8 p.m. in the past. I've had it at 7 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m., as well as 4 p.m. Based on my experience, for me, stopping food intake at least 4 to 5 hours before bed significantly improves my sleep quality. I just sleep a lot better when I'm feeling slightly hungry or with an emptier stomach. The reasons for that are multifold. Too much food in your stomach makes it harder to fall asleep, and your body has to spend more energy on digesting food rather than repairing itself. Secondly, your gut affects the circadian rhythms almost equally as much as bright lights do. In fact, they've found that there's 10 to 100 times more melatonin in the intestinal tract than in the blood, and 400 times more than in the pineal gland in the brain. So your gut produces a lot more melatonin than the pineal gland. If you can't fall asleep on an empty stomach, then just have something light with protein or fruit. Another thing that affects melatonin production is temperature. Your body cools down during sleep because of decreased metabolism, and a drop in body temperature is one of the signals to fall asleep. A 2023 study saw that the optimal nighttime ambient temperature for sleep was somewhere between 17 to 25 degrees Celsius. Sleep efficiency was seen to decrease by 5 to 10% at temperatures above 25 degrees, but it also decreased below 15 degrees. So both high as well as low temperature can reduce your sleep quality. There's a lot of individual differences in here. Some people just like it to be very cold, other people like it to be very hot. You just need to find your sweet spot. But probably the complete extremes, super cold, super hot, both of the extremes are probably harmful for your sleep quality. For me, sleeping at slightly cooler temperatures, like around 20 degrees Celsius, is better. Alright, so far I've covered how to improve deep sleep. But what about REM sleep? If we go back to sleep architecture, then REM sleep happens mostly at the second half of the night, which is when you're dreaming. If your REM sleep is low, then it might mean that you're not sleeping long enough. If you sleep 4 hours, you'll get plenty of deep sleep and very little REM sleep, because REM sleep happens predominantly after 4 hours. If you sleep 8 to 9 hours, you'll get enough deep sleep, and you'll have enough time for REM sleep. That's why it's important to not sleep restrict yourself and deliberately sleep in. You're not being lazy or procrastinating. Sleeping 8 hours is healthy for your body. Now, if you're getting plenty of REM sleep but not enough deep sleep, then it means that you're not optimizing what you do before bed. To get enough REM sleep, you need to stay asleep and sleep long enough, up to 8 hours. Use blackout curtains, use earplugs if needed, and set the alarm later if you need it, or go to bed earlier to make sure you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. In the summer, the biggest thing that wakes me up is the sunrise. Here in Estonia, the sun rises around 5 a.m. in the summer, so I don't want to wake up at like 5 a.m. That's why I'm going to use blackout curtains or like a sleep mask. What about supplements? Are there any supplements that you can use to improve sleep? Glycine, 3 grams in the evening. It lowers body temperature and increases GABA, the relaxation neurotransmitter. Magnesium, 400 milligrams a day. Reduces stress and promotes relaxation. Melatonin, 0.3 to 3 milligrams in the evening. Increases melatonin levels. A 2024 meta-analysis of clinical studies saw that the optimal way to take melatonin was 3 hours before bed at 4 milligrams a dose. However, this was compared to 2 milligrams 30 minutes before bed. I think you have to experiment with melatonin to see what's the optimal dose for you. For me, I always feel better if I take smaller amounts of melatonin, like 0.3 milligrams rather than 3 milligrams. I have also experimented with 4 milligrams 4 hours before bed, like the study suggested. And what I noticed was that it did make me quite sleepy 1 hour before bed. That makes sense. You don't want to start producing melatonin when you're in the bed. You already want to have high levels of melatonin before you go to bed. Let's now talk about waking up too often. What is the reason for that? To be honest, waking up once is perfectly normal. You just go to the bathroom or something and then you go back to sleep. However, if you wake up 2, 3 or 4 to 5 times per night, then it'll definitely reduce your sleep quality. The reasons for that are usually stress related. If you're working all day in front of screens and you're mentally stressed out, then your brain will wake you up frequently. Take some magnesium, go to sauna, relax, eat a little bit of more food, reduce your exercise load, reduce your workload, whatever it is. All of those things can reduce your stress. Hypoglycemia or low blood sugar can be another common reason for waking up at night. When your brain goes low blood sugar, it increases stress and wakes you up. If you're eating very few calories, or you're eating low carb, or you're not keto adapted, then you might get hypoglycemia during the night. If that's you, then you can have some like a protein snack or some small fruit or berry snack in the evening. Drinking too much liquids can also make you go to the bathroom at night. Water is essential, but you don't need to drink so much water that you go to pee every hour. Dial down the water and liquids about 5 hours before bed. I do drink 1 cup of herbal tea in the evening after my dinner. It's actually quite good and relaxing, and it's also a diuretic, which means that you can go to the bathroom before you fall asleep. But if you drink 2, 3, 4 cups of tea, then you're just going to have to go to the bathroom at night. Alright, let's bring it all together. To increase your sleep quality, you need to make sure you sleep 7 to 8 hours to get enough both deep and REM sleep. For deep sleep, optimize what you're doing before bed, such as getting enough sunlight exposure during the day, exercising, blocking out blue light in the evening, and having an earlier dinner. For REM sleep, you have to sleep enough and sleep in. If you want to know about my full evidence-based sleep optimization protocol, then check out this video next. Other than that, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to click a like and subscribe for future videos about living longer and staying healthier. My name is Siim. Stay optimized, stay empowered.